Hello and welcome to my channel. If you like my content, please like and subscribe. It really helps a lot. Hope you enjoy the next couple of videos coming up. I work in a hospital as a nurse. I was on a row of nights which I dread. I ended up having 5 patients, 2 of which were under care for cancer. There are 2 events in here for 2 separate nights. Number 1, the night started normally as I assessed and passed meds to the patients and did my charting and other night duties, stalking and other stuff. Just around 11 PM, one of my palliative patients started ringing, complaining that there was a kid running in the room, laughing and playing, when they should be in bed. I checked the room to make sure there was no one in the room and reassured him that there was no children in the hospital area we were in. I made him comfortable and left the room. He rang again. I went back to the room to see what he rang for. Agitated, he said, that he was just looking to rest comfortably, and that people should keep their children under control and not let them jump on his bed, playing and laughing this time. I got the chills, but again I reassured him that there was no children since it wasn't the paediatric ward. I told him that I would bring him a sleeping pill to help him fall asleep, but that I would be a few minutes. I started walking back towards the desk in the meditation room to grab the sleeping pill. A bell rang, then I turned around and saw that the indicator above the door was flashing slightly. Annoyed, I walked back to his room. He was agitated again in his bed, and I asked him what was wrong. He again complained about this kid and said that he was just in here again. I leaned over the bed and calmly explained that there is no kids in this hospital. You need to get some rest. He replied loudly, "He's standing right behind you." I stood up instantly and slowly turned around, creeped out. I turned to face the patient, and before I could speak, he says he ran into the closet, referring to the lockers where patients can store items. I slowly opened the locker and saw that his jacket was swinging, but no one was in there, and I rushed into the med room to give him his sleeping pill. Note number 2, this is a short one. I came out of one of my patient's room and was sanitising my hands, but facing the wall. As I was rubbing my hands together, I noticed a shadow of something walk out of the room next door, and it walked into the room across from it. As I turned to see, I went into the room where I walked into. I asked the patient, which was not mine, if anyone came into the room. She replied no, but with a shaky voice. I checked the room to make sure that there was no one in there. I left the room and went into the room where it came from. I looked around, but no one was in there. I checked the patient again, not a sign to me, and found that he had died. He was in palliative care patient. I walked out of the room immediately to inform the nurse who had the patient that he had passed away. She asked me to come with her to check the patient because she has been having creepy vibes every time she went in there. I agreed, and we went. She did the assignment where you listen for a full minute. When she was done, we heard knocking on the wall. She said, "See, it's creepy." I didn't think anything of it until she said we're on the 4th floor, and at the other side of that wall is the outside of the building. We quickly left the room. 4 of us came in there to shroud the body. When I was about 10ish years old, I lived in a really small town. My friends and I would often play on the trails near the forest after school, or on the weekends building forts and fishing, etc. But one day we were walking on the trail and a lady in her mid-50s or 60s came out of the woods. She had dirt all over her hands and pants. She said her car had broken down and she needed help. We said we would go tell our parents to come out, but she insisted that we come into the woods. We said no and kept walking, and she just stared at us. It was like she had just shut off as a person. When we told her, the smile went away. Everything. Even when we were a couple of kilometres down the road, we could see her staring at us. We get back to my friends and we're playing tag or something in his backyard. And one of us starts making fun of the lady that we saw earlier. And out of nowhere, he is launched into his parents' shed, breaks the window on him and his arm. We all stand back in shock. His parents came out and started yelling at us, blaming us and saying that we threw him. All of us ended up being grounded. To this day we all seem to have the same recurrent dream of seeing the woman in the woods, except every time I dream, she is closer and closer to us. Does anyone have any experiences that are similar or advice? For the dreams, and just to clarify, it was a small walking trail. There was obviously no car off the road. And I grew up in a real small place in Canada. My friend didn't fly into the shed 20 feet away, like it was 7 or so, and nobody was near him. There has been much talk of skinwalkers surrounding where I lived, and where I was born, but in my mind, she will forever be known as the witch in the woods. My cousin Lloyd passed away a couple of years ago. He had a bad relationship with his daughter due to choosing his new wife, her stepmother, over her, his daughter. Never forgave him, and poor Lloyd spent his last years desperately trying to apologise for his horrendous mistakes and make peace, and to try to meet his only granddaughter. Lloyd came to realise that family is everything. It's the only important thing in his life. Sadly, he never did see his daughter or granddaughter. Lloyd would spend his holidays with family instead. We loved him and tried to give him that family connection. He was so desperate. Last year I had an enormous fight with my mom and blocked her. About 2 months after that, things started going missing. It was just little things at first, every week or two. And one of my favourite makeup brushes, my good hand cream, my favourite lipstick, my hairbrush, perfume, and worst, my engagement ring. Just small but very personal items, and only my stuff. And there were all items that had a designated place that I don't put down anywhere else. Over time it became more and more items, and more frequently, until I put something down, and as soon as I'd reached for it again, it'd be gone. That was happening daily. It was driving me crazy. My house had become super active, and the footsteps could be heard at all hours, day and night, doors opening and closing, TVs turning itself on in the middle of the night, plus guitars strumming themselves, whispering lights turning on and off, etc. I keep asking for my things back, but to no avail. Then 2 of my dog's paperwork folders went missing. These folders contain all of my dog's important paperwork, pedigree, papers, vaccination certificates, champion titles, etc. I breed and show my dogs, and right now I need both of these particular dog folders, as one is about to be bred and the other needs her booster vaccination. And I need her vaxxer to take to the vet with me. I have 10 dogs and keep them folders all together in my filing cabinet. Only these 2 were missing, and finally it clicked. Bloody Lloyd was behind this. I didn't know why I made the connection. Perhaps I could feel it was him. I don't know at this stage. I haven't spoken to my mom in 11 months, and I knew that what Lloyd was upset about was that, so I'd unblock her number in my phone and told Lloyd to stop already. I'm doing it in a few days. Later I get a text from my mom and I answered it. We start talking again. The activity stops. Not another thing goes missing in the house. It is back to normal level of activity, not the freak show it had become. I start asking Lloyd for my stuff back, and nothing. A week goes by and it's my mom's birthday. I buy her a gift and go around to her place and have a visit. When I get home I walk through the door and step on my missing engagement ring. "You little beauty, thanks Lloyd," I said. Later that night I find my favourite makeup brush on the floor of my bedroom. I vacuumed this morning. It definitely wasn't there. Then again, thanks Lloyd. Yesterday I went out of town to do some Christmas shopping. And as well as buying some presents for other people, I brought my mother a present. I came home and my 2 dog folders were on the dining room table and there was nothing else on that table. So my dead cousin Lloyd is using theft and bribery to make me have a relationship with my mom. If you knew Lloyd, you know it was absolutely his style. Family is the most important thing to him.